Hey, what's up guys? Adam from Lazy Guy DIY, and today I'm going to give you a closer look at the SawStop CTS. That is the compact table saw. It's a job site saw with the SawStop finger saving technology, so hey, maybe we better take a better look. All right, first things first here. We're gonna jump in, and I actually ended up doing the hot dog test with this saw. I had an extra blade and extra brake, so I'll show you that here in a second. But the other thing is, if you follow me on social media at Lazy Guy DIY, or if you happen to catch the second season of Renovation Hunters, which is a TV show that I'm a carpenter on, you'll know that I had a table saw injury and ended up cutting my hand pretty bad while filming the second season. So what I will say is that hey, this would have not saved me at all. It was not an issue with the saw that I was using on the job site. What ended up happening was the push stick that I was using had a break in it or something. I was making one last cut and the push stick actually snapped, went into the blade, shot shrapnel all over the place, went right through my hand, got 16 stitches, came back on the show. Couldn't use my hand for a little bit, but I will tell you, from working on a job site, from jumping from place to place, not knowing what tools you have or what the situation is, and also with crazy hours and basically a crazy schedule to get stuff done, it would be nice to have, you know, the peace of mind of having the finger saving technology that SawStop has. So I will say, having this this sort of technology in a job site saw, that's a win from the start, especially because, you know, people are always concerned about price of this sort of technology, but it is much cheaper to have that investment into a saw than to have the medical bills. And believe me, I know medical bills suck when you have a hand injury, and also you can't use your hand here for several months. So all that say, let's check out the review. So with the CTS, you get a rack and pinion fence. So what does that mean? You have little pins on here and it racks into place. What's really great about these, if you have a job site saw, is it gives you a clean surface to pack away. You don't have to worry about losing your fence, put it somewhere, having it fall off, whatever else. So you see these on quite a few table saws these days, but it's real nice to have, especially on this. So lift the levers, pop it off, and then you have pins on either side. That way you can basically set up your cuts on either side of the blade. This one has 2 pins on the right side here, so if you need to get a little farther away, if you're going to extend that fence way out, it gives you a little extra room here so you're able to get bigger cuts and bigger rips. So I'm going to slide this on here, lock it in place, and you're good to go. What I also like about this fence is you know when it's locked into place. So you have a lever here, you pull it out, you can adjust it as need be, you can do micro adjustments, but when you know it's time to go, slap it into place. Very satisfying sound, so there's no more questioning whether your fence is locked into place and if it's going to move on you when you're making a cut, so you're good to go. One of the other things I really like also is that it has a low fence. So there's 2 settings here. This one lines exactly up with the table. So if you're doing a narrow cut, you don't want to have this pinched right up against the fence line here. So if you have the low fence on there, you're able to make those cuts, you're not pinched there, and you don't have to worry about kickback basically. So the second fun feature of this fence is that you have a second level here for the low fence, and basically what it does is it turns into a shelf. So this lines up exactly with the tabletop here. So what you have is you have the ability to extend your fence out all the way, and then you can rest your material against the fence and not worry about it falling down into the unknown. So you're sold on SawStop saws and the finger save technology, but you don't know which one to purchase. And when you look at the cabinet saw or the professional saw, those may not fit your budget or fit your space. So that moves you down to 2 other models here, which would be the CTS, this one that we've talked about, the compact table saw, or the JSS, which is the job site saw. But what are the differences between those two? Obviously, there's a little bit of a price difference, but one of the big things is you get a 24.5-inch rip capacity like we talked about with this one. The JSS is a 25.5-inch rip capacity, so that 1 inch may make all the difference, especially if you're ripping sheet goods down on a job site. You also have different motors on this one too. This one is direct drive, while the JSS is a belt drive. Now the difference there is that you get a little bit less sound and vibration from the belt drive, but honestly, if you're just working in a space and that's not a big thing to you, it's not going to be much of a difference. So I wouldn't worry about that there between the two. The other big difference is that this one, the CTS, is 68 pounds, while the JSS is 84 pounds. Now that is a big difference. One of the other things that's different too is the stand. This one is a fold down stand that you take apart. This pops right off, it locks into place, and you can just move it around that way. Now the JSS has a different stand that sort of scissors down, and then it has wheels on it. So that 84 pounds is a little easier to move around when you have wheels on it, but this one is not bad at all either. All right, guys, I teased this at the beginning. I did run the hot dog test for my SawStop saw. I had an extra blade and an extra brake, thanks to my friends from SawStop, to give this a try. But if you're not familiar with it, basically this brake on here, if you complete the circuit and any part of your skin touches the blade while it's spinning, it will trigger this to fire, and then you have the blade lock and drop in a fraction of a second. It's crazy, it scares people, it's loud, but if you're at a trade show, it's really awesome to see, and I've never actually done it in my own shop before, nor have I triggered the SawStop from going by having an accident. So I'm excited to try this out here, but basically the way it works is you have a hot dog, you'll pass it through the running blade. You'll make sure you keep a hand on it though, because if you're not touching that hot dog and it runs through the blade, it won't complete the circuit, and then you'll have hot dog pieces splattered everywhere. So I'm gonna give it a go here. Let me know what you think in the comments. It's awesome. I've slowed it down as much as I can so you can see it, but it just, I mean, it's quick. It is why I love this saw and why I love all the SawStop lineup, because this is something that will change your life. If you've been working in a shop, you're woodworking, carpentry, anything else, and you have had any close calls, this is why you love a SawStop. All right, you've seen the hot dog test. This is pound for pound one of the best demos that you see when you go to trade shows. Visually, it's awesome. You get to see the technology in action, and you don't typically get to see that. Now, I know some of you knuckleheads are gonna ask here in the comments, well, why don't you stick your finger in it if you know it works and you trust it and whatever else? Well, I don't know if you noticed, but the hot dog does get a tiny little cut in it, and that's way better than cutting your whole finger off. So just for the sake of, you know, not having to wear a Band-Aid for the next few weeks for having a tiny little cut, but knowing peace of mind that this could save my finger, I'm not going to do that. The hot dog test is such a good visual representation of that, so I'm going to leave it at that. But hey, I wish more saws would have this technology in it, but that's what sets SawStop aside from the others, sets it apart, and also all the bells and whistles you get with the saw. So who should be buying this? Well, to me, it should be the homeowner, DIYer, woodworker that wants to upgrade what their current setup is. Maybe they have a hand-me-down saw, maybe they have another compact table saw, but they're looking for something a little bit more, plus they get that finger save technology. It's a good fit for them. At 68 pounds and then a fold down stand, it can get a little bit heavy if you're like hauling it back and forth between the job site, but that's why I say maybe take a look at the JSS in that case, because it does have the wheels on it. I know all about packing stuff down at a job site and how tiring that gets at the end of the day, so those wheels make all the difference. So if you want this saw, if you want to check it out, go to sawstop.com, and then also make sure you subscribe to my channel, A Lazy Guy DIY, and I promise you guys, I know there's been a little bit of a hiatus, but I will be back and creating more content for you guys soon. So stay tuned, and thanks for watching.